Good evening, Grafton, and welcome to the December 9th, 2025 school committee meeting. We do have a member on Zoom, so we're going to do roll call attendance, starting with Laura.
Laura Often here.
Christy Kobazinski here.
Stella Vrelistik is here. Rebecca Soko here.
Leora Braun here. Okay, great. So with that, we'll open it up for public comment. Anybody online?
Nope.
All right. Seeing none, we will jump right into general business and a technology update. Welcome, Maureen and Krista.
So I think the committee has maybe met
Yeah.
both individuals, but just to make sure, we've got two wonderful individuals in our tech department presenting tonight. Maureen Malloy, who is our technology coordinator, and Krista LeBron is AI integration and digital learning specialist. And we're lucky to have them both.
Great.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us.
Get started.
As I said, these are our tech specialists.
A little nervous, but we're just started. I just wanted to give a quick overview of what our technology department does and the individuals in the department. I'm sure a lot of times you hear their names or you might hear their titles, but not know exactly what they do. So this is a group picture we took over the summer, and starting with Jamie Cardinal in the back there, in the tall with the pink shirt. He's our data coordinator. He handles all things Power School, state reporting. He does all our state reports, including SIMS, EPUMS, SSDR, CRDC. He verifies all the information, validates for errors, and ensures compliance with DESE. He serves as the primary administrator of Power School. He works closely with the building secretary to make sure all the data is accurate. He maintains reports, does a lot of trainings, meets with them pretty regularly, usually monthly, to make sure things are going well at Power School. He also helps onboarding with staff. He helps me a lot with accounts, setting up new staff, disabling accounts, things like that. The next in the picture is Paul. Paul's next to him in the green shirt there to his left. Paul's our mobile device manager, and the high school students will probably recognize Paul. He works at the help desk, the student help desk, about 9 hours a week, and he does all things iPads, MacBooks, so think of him anything mobile. He also works with the special ed department with the AAC devices, and he just troubleshoots any type of issues with those devices, setting them up, inventorying them. And then we also have Patricia. She's here on the front row, all the way to the left. Patricia Montral, she's our assistant mobile device manager. Very similar role to Paul. But she handles all things Chromebooks. And she also has a student help desk at the middle school, 6 hours a week. So she provides all types of technical support for students and staff, but those that use Chromebooks. Then we have Jesse here in the back row in the blue shirt, and Dan over on the right in the green shirt. They are both computer technology systems coordinators, and they handle all things projectors, copiers, printers, PA systems, the phone servers, the network troubleshooting. They have a lot of cross-training, which is great. There's 2 of them. They also coordinate with vendors, troubleshoot any tech issues. And then finally, we have Val. She's in the front row here in the jean jacket. And she's a part-time technical assistant, so you'll see her sometimes in here. She comes in about 2 days a week, and she helps me with all types of POs. She's very wonderful. Invoicing, enters things into the Vadar system, and she helps with the device prep and deployment. Some of our summer, I know it's December, but we didn't get to meet in October, we were rescheduled. So some of our summer device deployments and maintenance, we had, we deployed 280 Chromebooks to our incoming sixth grade class. We had 3 sessions. We deployed 240 plus to our incoming ninth grade and new students. We conducted 8 sessions. We collected all the Chromebooks from the outgoing 8th graders and the iPads from the 12th grade graduating class. We cleaned and updated all the Chromebooks in the classroom carts. That's a lot. That's about 15 Chromebook carts. We follow the custodians as they clean and get the rooms back together. We come in and do all the tech. And that includes updating computers, cleaning the projectors, replacing the filters, getting the rooms back together. We set up all the accounts and equipment for new faculty and staff. And this year we relocated a couple copiers over at GMS. They just wanted to change positions. It's over this summer. Some other things that we do over the summer, it's a very busy time for us. We have to complete the Power School rollover every year. We roll Clever and all the applications associated with Clever, and we create badges for the students in grades kindergarten to grade 3. We also have to do some year-end reporting, finalize the state reporting, complete the end of year for SIMS, EPOMS, SSDR, EBT, and the student demographic updates. Earlier that year, we were supporting the MCAS as part of our spring computer-based testing. Also, over the summer, we supported the ESY and enrichment programs held over at the high school. We hosted 2 new hire tech sessions. So we have, prior to starting, any new employees has a couple opportunities to come in, get their devices, go over any key applications they need access to, and get all their HR logins and information prior to starting. We also hosted 7 Power School Schoology gradebook sessions, and that's for staff getting their gradebook in Power School and their Schoology set up prior to school starting. A couple things new since the last time I was here. We implemented anonymous alerts at GHS and JMS. Then within the tech department, we started utilizing Freshdesk, and it's a ticketing system that we use internally for our tickets that come in. Some major projects that have mostly been completed was the North Street modules. That was a big undertaking to get the top technology back in order over there. We installed 3 new laser projectors. We finally were able to get the PA system over at GMS upgraded and fully operational. Over the summer, we upgraded the phone system. We updated our print server. We upgraded our Wi-Fi, which I feel like is always ongoing, but it's very important to stay on top of that. We have installed additional cameras at the high school, including 2 Wi-Fi cameras in the lower parking lot. Ongoing projects, again, is the wireless access points. We replace them as they become outdated to make sure we're staying to keep the infrastructure up to date. The North Street School PA system just was completed last week. Last Thursday, we did all our troubleshooting Monday, and they're very pleased over there. Very, very happy. And we also are in the process of installing a fiber redundancy module. It'll just be a backup to our current module in case there's any type of outage. And then under curriculum and instructional support, some of the key initiatives we're working on is the AI task force. Translation services, we've kind of gotten together and met with Jen Mannion, Jamie, my data coordinator, Steve Wilshire, Krista, trying to figure out how we can better serve those who need translations, whether it's documentation, online, using our website. So that's something that we've been working on since the summer, is how to help better provide translation services. We're supporting Project Lead the Way. That's ongoing. We supported the PSAT exams this past October. It was on the 18th. We are helping with the STAR testing. We just started meeting regarding Power School scheduling, and that's for next school year, but those meetings start now, and they'll continue all spring. We supported the MCAS retests that just happened in November. We have the WIDA access testing for EL students in our spring MCAS. That meeting will be held. Again, those all start very soon. And then ongoing with cybersecurity training. This is our tech plan that is a link at the top that goes over some of the initiatives going on, some of the infrastructure, the goals, and some special projects that are in here. Some of the one part of the technology plan I like to highlight is our sound field systems that we're installing across the district. This year we installed an additional 5 systems, 3 at the middle school, 1 at North Grafton Elementary, and 1 at North Street School. So that brings us to a total of top hats. The top hats that you find installed up in the ceiling. The teachers wear a mic and they're synced, and it just makes the audio a lot clearer in the room. And then the red cats are the mobile ones that students can travel with, because not all buildings are suitable to have a top hat installed. And this just highlights our new ticketing system that we are using, Freshdesk. And it just gives you an overview of our volume of tickets that have come in, and how they're resolved over this was from August through October. So the total number of tickets unresolved, that could be we're waiting for somebody to get back to us. There's something out being repaired. And one-touch tickets means those tickets were resolved within one reply. And next, I'm going to turn it over to Krista.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you again for having us tonight. So my name is Crystal LeBrun. My role is AI integration and digital learning specialist for the district. I did do some math earlier. This is my 15th year in education. So I am a certified educator. I have a 1 through 6 license as well in instruction technology. And so what I've done is I've spent 11 years in the classroom prior to coming to Grafton. This is my 4th year here, and I'm loving my role. And so what I've done is I've taken that background knowledge of teaching in the classroom to then help support students and teachers with technology integration. So again, jumping back to summer, just a few things that I've done to run to just kind of help the school year start off very smoothly for everyone. The first is presenting at 7 iPad deployment sessions. I know Maureen mentioned that in her slides. I'll go and I'll run those deployment sessions so that way students and parents are ready to go with the iPads for the start of the school year. I also ran 7 Power School and Schoology gradebook setup sessions for teachers. So teachers from 6th through 12th grade use our LMS Schoology. And so I ensure that their gradebook setup and their courses are ready to go for the school year. So once they start adding grades, students' grades are being calculated properly and able to be synced to Power School. I also ran a Schoology training overview for new hires. So, as teachers come into our district, some have used Schoology in the past, some have not. So it's really, my job to kind of get their feet wet and get them familiar with Schoology so they can then use it with their courses, their classes. And I also met with teachers one-on-one to address any technology integration issues prior to the start of the school year. Again, there's a lot of tools in Schoology itself and a lot of programs that integrate with Schoology. So it's really my job to make sure that teachers know how to use all of that. I also break down my support into different tiers for technology integration. I am a Google certified coach, so I've done the educator licensure as well as completed the certified coach training. Tier 1, I call tech support tickets. So teachers who are sending in emails, who have questions about technology integration, troubleshooting, workflows, any training or support or any other tech requests. Again, I'm looking at that inbox. I'm looking at Freshdesk, our ticketing system, to answer those questions and support those requests. Tier 2, I consider AI, I consider SMART goals as part of that tier. And so a couple years back, I created AI specific and technology specific SMART goals. So as part of the educator evaluation process, teachers need to select a professional and a student learning goal each year. And so they can use these pre-approved goals. We can customize them to their needs, and then I support them all year with those goals. Third one for tier 3, again, I'm a Google certified coach, so there's a coaching cycle that I've been trained in. I will roll that out with teachers where we'll co-plan, co-teach, and the overall goal is to increase student impactful technology use. So I do want to talk a little bit more about those SMART goals. I know these might be a little hard to see, but again, these are the pre-approved goals that teachers can select as part of their evaluation. The AI goals are really a variety of goals. So if there's teachers who are just beginning to use AI and kind of getting their feet wet with it, we have an AI tools overview goal where I go and meet with them. So we talk about some of the AI tools they have access to and how to use them in their role. And then we dig a little bit deeper, teaching students how to use AI responsibly. There's AI integrated into Google, of course. We've got Gemini, Google Classroom sets. And then even we're moving a little further, implementing AI with the flipped classroom model. So those are just a few examples, but these are a list of goals they can choose from. And I've also created custom AI goals for teachers as well. And then we've got our technology SMART goals, and these are really aligned to the hardware and software that we're implementing at the district level. And so these allow teachers to use the technology that we have to their fullest potential. And so you'll see Schoology assessments. There's a few different Schoology goals there. Again, it's a very robust LMS, so just kind of teaching teachers how to use it in the best way possible. And then we've got some other tools such as GoGuardian, Apple Classroom. Those are used a lot from the 6th grade to the 12th grade levels. Student writing, Google Docs, adaptive reading supports, ClearTouch panels. We've done a lot with that where teachers have had those. We've added those into classrooms over the last few years. And so just teaching them how to use all these tools to the fullest potential so students gain the most from each of the tools. Who doesn't love a good picture? So I did include a few here, SMART goal examples. So in the past, I have teamed up with a 4th grade team at Mulberry Street to teach the DLCS standards, with the computer teachers kind of taking over the PLTW lessons. That leaves a little less time to cover those DLCS standards. So we're doing more of that into the classroom. So just going in and teaching these students. In this example, I taught Google Slides and Doc skills just to help them as they move forward in their journey. From the picture there on the bottom, I teamed up with the GMS social studies teachers to complete a Google coaching cycle. They were kind of my guinea pigs for this. They were my first group to do the coaching cycle once I was certified. And they were great. We were able to use technology to complete research, teaching students how to identify reliable resources by vetting online websites. That was a really great lesson that we got to do together. And then lastly, you've got this boy at the ClearTouch board. I teamed up with grade 1 North Grafton teachers to plan ways to differentiate her advanced level math group using the ClearTouch panel. So her issue was that she had a group of students that had already mastered some of those 1st grade math standards, and so she needed to then extend the content for those students. And so we used interactive games and activities on the ClearTouch panel to meet their needs. That was another example of a SMART goal. All right, just a quick overview of the Google coaching cycle. So it is a 5-step coaching cycle that's, again, used to improve student impactful technology use. And so you can see the 5 steps are here. The first one, we identify and understand challenges that teachers face in their classrooms. We investigate possible strategies and then select a personalized strategy and the tools that we'll be using to solve that challenge. 4th, we implement the strategy. We make any improvements. I'll meet with the teacher. I'll visit his or her classroom, and then we'll meet again to discuss any changes and make any tweaks. And then we'll continue to implement that until we see a positive change. And then lastly, we'll reflect on the experience and the outcomes. And we use this rubric that's here to evaluate growth of students' impactful technology use. And so we assess the students prior to the coding cycle, we implement that strategy, and then we reassess at the end to show growth. A little more ticket data for you as well. So here's my lovely pie chart. Again, this is the summer to fall data from August to October. So this is my personal data for my tickets. 151 tickets resolved in that time frame. With the beginning of the year comes with that Schoology grading setup. So you'll see that that's the largest portion here of this pie chart. Another big piece that I do is the tech integration and training. Again, how to use the hardware and software that we have available to us here in Grafton. Some website support, GoGuardian support. So a lot of that beginning of the year foundational support you see here. But as the year goes on, you'll see that little slice where it says coaching cycle SMART goals. That will increase greatly as I meet with teachers as they go through their benchmarks throughout the school year. And then just a few notes about AI initiatives and some PD support that I've provided as well. I've run several AI professional development sessions for staff during PD days, during staff meetings, and department meetings. Last year, one example of using AI was at GHS. We were working on the NEASC alignment, and so teachers need to align their curriculum with the UDL per NEASC's requirements. And so I showed them how to use AI to help support that process. And then I worked one-on-one with teachers to introduce AI tools, plan how they can be used to support them in their roles, and plan lessons that can be used across content-specific areas. And lastly, working alongside district administration on the AI task force to plan district policy guidance for teachers and student use. As some of you may know, DESE rolled out the AI guidance this past summer, so we've been taking what we've had, our draft, and kind of aligning it with what they have, so we're kind of working towards that district guidance as well.
Madam Chair, before you go on, can I ask you a question? When you're speaking of DESE, so DESE also has the DESE AI, literacy for educators, that program. Are we utilizing that with our teachers as well?
So we haven't dug into it yet, but it's something that we're exploring, and we're starting to dig into that because that was, again, just released in August. So yeah, I'm going to be going.
Yeah, because they offer like a certificate of completion of it.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Any other questions at all for myself or Maureen?
Anyone want the question? Laura? No?
I have a few.
Sure.
It was, first of all, great presentation, very thorough. And you can imagine we're going to have a lot of interest in, what's next. AI being a big piece of that. And, there's excitement and there's fear and there's all kinds of things. So it would be really great if you could, so your example about the working with the GHS faculty on using AI to sort of meet UDL alignment. So can you tell us a little bit more about, tools you used or how that went?
Yeah, sure. As educators and as any professional field, we're going to use our educator hats, if you will, to kind of guide our processing here. But we did use ChatGPT and Gemini, so just a general large language model. And we took the curriculum that teachers were using or what they had already come up with the previous school year. UDL is a framework that we follow. And so they took their curriculum, the UDL framework, and then the NEASC, the Vision of a Graduate that we have. And so we took all three of those and we pretty much asked ChatGPT to align them. And so it kind of started the process of the correct wording and verbiage that we needed to then, make it so it was, it met NEASC's requirement. So again, it was a starting point. It didn't just do it all for us, but it certainly saved some time and allowed teachers to kind of get that ball rolling and get that finished up for NEASC.
So how do you see sort of bringing those tools into the classroom in terms of helping kids learn how to use AI, maybe to spark ideas or, to get a brainstorm going, but not to write their papers, right? So
that's a great question. So we have discussed at the district level the stoplight model. So I don't know if anybody has seen that in the past, but teachers and curriculum departments can decide what it looks like in their specific content area. Where, red meaning stop, you're not using AI for anything. Yellow light meaning, ask your teacher. Some of these, tasks can be completed with AI, and then green light is go ahead and use AI for this task. So, we're really kind of starting to just get the kids' feet wet with it. I did work with a teacher at the high school, and they were teaching. She teaches a course on habits of mind, or something like that. But she, habits for success. Yeah, I think is what it's called. That's it. And so she teaches kids like how to make a study guide using AI, using all their notes. So they can attach all their notes, and then it can create a study guide. It can create a quiz. There are tools like Notebook LM. It will actually create an entire podcast, which is really quite amazing. So it had these two people talking about the information that you've input. So just kind of teaching kids how to use it in a respectful, responsible way, where it's not doing the work for them, but rather supporting their learning.
And do you envision, as a district, there are tools we're going to want to look at over time to, standardize across the district in terms of how we're using or what we're using for AI in the classroom?
We believe that's coming. Yep, that's part of the task force. First, we wanted to get some guidelines, and then we want to investigate tools. That's our next initiative on the task force.
Awesome. Who's on the task force besides you, Ken? Who's
It's Jen Mannion, Tracy, Chris Starr, Christine Martillo.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks. Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, and in relation to the AI, with the tools that we're using. So no Main Street AI right now really adheres to COFA, as in all privacy is kind of out the window, right? So are we ensuring that children in elementary schools are not using AI because they wouldn't meet that 13-year age requirement?
Gemini, was it
Gemini, Google Gemini does.
Okay.
We have created a data dashboard for AI tools, where we go through. We're still working on it; it's not complete yet, but we're going through the tools and explaining exactly what the age restriction is and exactly what that tool does.
Okay.
Again, that's part of our task force too.
And I guess at the middle school and high school level, like, are there appropriate tools that they can use for certain assignments? Like, is there like a specific name of like an AI resource other than like Gemini or, I don't know what you said, that they can use for certain assignments?
I would say Gemini.
We do encourage Gemini, just because so it doesn't. A lot of large language models use the data you input to train their models. Gemini for Education does not. So I really try and push back because it's the safest option for kids to use. There are a lot of good options as well that we're starting to explore.
Because we even saw with this almost snow day that they said that Millbury Street was closed, but it was clearly open. And
Well, that's part of what we're teaching people, how to critically look at it.
yeah,
Because so much of it can be wrong.
it can. Yeah.
Great lesson, actually.
Right, that's part of the learning is to differentiate when the information is wrong.
Great. Thank you both. Really, a lot of work went into the presentation. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can everybody?
That's the moment we've all been waiting for. Budget.
I'm really excited. It's not that
There are people that are very excited.
A 66 pages.
All right. Here we are. Kathleen and I are going to just run through a few slides, give basically an overview, a big picture review of where we stand with the FY27 budgets. Obviously, as usual, ask questions throughout. We're going to be touching on a summary of the approach that we've been taking. And with all of this, obviously, this is our best thinking, but the committee can push us in a different direction if you choose. So talk about the approach, just explain what a level service budget is and what that means for us, talk about the 3 central cost drivers for FY27, a quick look ahead, and begin talking in a very basic sense about a reduction budget. So what we are recommending is that we're going to create 2 budgets. I think we did this, I know we did the same thing last year, where we'll have that level service budget, which I'll talk about more in a second, but try to maintain the current level of service and programs that are provided in FY26. And then we'll also at the same time be producing a reduction budget where once we know the deficit, and there will definitely be a significant deficit between what we anticipate for funding and what we think we need to have that level service, a reduction budget will decrease the level of services, programming, and people to get to that number, whatever that is.
Jay, for folks listening or watching it later, can we clarify that last year we did indeed proceed with a reduction budget? It wasn't a huge, it was a reduction of 600,000.
Slide that
Perfect.
touches the-
I just want everyone to remember that. That's all.
Yep.
Steer. In case
So-
anyone forgot.
As I just mentioned, a lot of people don't understand the level service budget. They think it's the exact same amount of money. That's not the case. We have increased the costs, staffing, materials, etc. But a level service budget is intended to maintain that operational status quo. But more or less, what was experienced last year or this year would be experienced next year. So when we look at a level service budget, the one that we're putting before you in this preliminary draft is really bare bones. And it's made up almost entirely of 3 factors that I'll talk about. With one exception, we are not in what's being put forward tonight in the preliminary budget. We're not bringing any of those reductions that Leora just talked about back from last year, with one exception. So we made non-personnel reductions, and the non-personnel reductions, a little over $162,000 and $447,000 in personnel reductions. So a curriculum coordinator, 2 curriculum coordinators, a maintenance position, a math intervention teacher, a technology position, the HR director position, half-time preschool. So we put it under, like if we could bring one position back, it would be that HR director. We'd probably pay a little less, have the scope be a little more limited, and have it be a coordinator position. But 1.0, and as a placeholder, we put in $123,000 for that position. There's a very, very good chance that needs are going to come up between now and the end of the year that are going to trump that need. So we're putting it there as a placeholder, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was extra paras or 2 teachers or whatever it might be. But we're making it work, but it's been exceedingly challenging. It's just not best practice not having an HR specialist.
Do we know, Jay, do we know, are we relatively confident with the number of preschool teachers we have versus what we think
Right
is
now,
coming in?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. Yes.
Oh, go ahead, Clark.
No. Fire away.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the 123 though, it used to be 140 for the HR director. You're saying our needs would be going up, but you'd be reducing that position to be a coordinator as opposed to a full director as you had before?
Well, you lost me on that, but we put it, the director, somebody who's making more money is going to be doing just more things. So if we have 123,000, we'd make that a human resources coordinator, possibly a shorter schedule, maybe not the entire year, but they won't be doing anything more than that focus on human resources.
So I guess my question is, why wouldn't you want back the HR director position?
We could, if we could get that piece I think that would be great. My gut tells me we won't even get the coordinator part. But if you guys want me to have a director and pay more, and it makes my life easier, that's great. But Frank and I are doing this job not particularly well, but we're doing it day in, day out.
It was the assumption of the board last year that you would be bringing back an HR director, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I think we all hoped for that, but we're again facing a devastating deficit.
You know, we've got 5 months.
like you have
we,
the
we
two
can
budgets,
certainly
like-
add to it.
The point being is if you're going to create two budgets, why wouldn't one of them be what your needs are?
Well, and that's going to go to the next slide, because in part of that feedback that we're looking from the committee, be it tonight or in the next few months, we have 5 months, but let's not wait till month 4. We don't have any change slides. There we go. These were the positions requested for the coming year. I think our leadership team does an exceptional job. When I first started, I'd say, put down what you want. And everybody would put down everything under the sun. And that was great. I didn't qualify it. But over the years, as financial realities have just become a way of life, they tend to put things that would make us better. And they'll tell us if they just absolutely have to have it, no questions asked. None of those meet this. None of the ones, the 5 listed, where we just have to have them. But they'd love to have them, and I did not build them into the budget.
So there could come a time there's a choice between human resources and
One of these,
or
probably the greatest odds would be around special education, where we've just been having an increase in move-ins. But that student that isn't out of district, if it's in district, that needs a full-time nurse, whatever it might be. And things could break the other way, where we have kids move out or things change, but that doesn't seem to happen a lot. So over time, the committee might want to add to it or put things in that would make us even better or stronger. And I'm okay with that. It's a little hard given that it's challenging in that, like publicly, the town administrator is yet to share the forecast, not only for 27, but the following 4 years. I think that's going to be shared tomorrow. But obviously, Kathleen and I have seen drafts of it, and we have a sense of the significance of that deficit. So we didn't build it, but we certainly could. The central cost drivers, 3. It's primarily 3 things. Salaries, we have almost 500 staff members. Cost of living adjustments for 2 of the bargaining units have steps and lanes. That's essentially, with that one exception of the HR or something, that's looking at the staff that we have right now. And that's contractual increases for next year. Out of district tuitions in special education, in previous presentations, we've gone over just the high cost of that. It's not anybody's fault. I'll touch on it in a second. We still have a little under 1% of our population going out of district. We have great internal programming. We had 4 students move in between the spring and summer. Again, well, that's glad they're here. Those 4 students most likely won't ever actually enter physically our schools. They're all out of district placements. They moved in at the end of last year, so we didn't have to, those salaries, if it's during the year, we don't pick them up until the following year. So FY27 for us is next year. And we pick up all the transportation costs. So almost all of that is with the move-ins, an increase of 880,000 and 231. The only other addition that I've touched on now a few times is that HR or other needs. And again, that placeholder of 123.
Dr. Cummings,
Yes.
why don't we include athletic transportation in that transportation?
That would be a wonderful question for our finance director.
Transportation, it's all together.
No, it's not. It's under GHS activities.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was the question why?
Why don't we? Yeah. Why isn't it considered part of transportation?
just wasn't broken out that way. And then you can see that in the detail, right?
I see it. Yeah. No, that's why I'm asking why it's not part of it.
Can I ask why?
Because why aren't all transportation items as the cost center, as that one cost center?
But I guess it's a different kind of transportation. It's not getting kids to school.
Okay, but it's $183,000 that we spend on it. So it's just a question as to why it's not part of it.
You can still
Yeah.
see it. It's just not lumped in
Okay.
what we're trying to
Part of
do
that
with
cost.
the special education, the big yellow bus contracts.
Okay.
I just touched on this. This slide you've seen before. It just gives an overview of that. As of October 1st, having 34 students placed either out of district private or collaborative settings, but just under 1%. So this is a little confusing, but I think it's borderline brilliant. This kind of can give some, I think, or I hope, give some perspective as to where we are in FY27. So we had the second of our 2 operational overrides, with the capacity being increased thanks to the generosity of the town. Fantastic. That capacity was exhausted at the end of FY24. And you could say, somebody not doing this all the time could say, well, we've had some reductions, but we haven't had massive cuts, massive layoffs. And it's been 2 years since we haven't had an override. Well, as all of you know, the reason for that is we backfilled that gap, both FY25 and FY26. So you may recall in FY25, we spent over $1 million in spending out our revolver accounts, primarily school choice. That's our biggest one. But every little thing that we had, we spent it out just to get through the year with, eternal optimist. Maybe next year we either have an override or the state changes the formula or something. And sure enough, FY26, that didn't happen. So we did a combination of 3 things. We spent out our circuit breaker funds. So we should always have a year's worth of circuit breaker or about that in reserve. We spent that out. We reduced, I should change the number so it's more accurate, but $447, I think, $1,000, over $400,000 in staff reductions. And we created $200,000 in revenue generation. We're actually a little over that, which has been great. But we kept a program that we were going to sunset at the high school. We kept it in place, brought students in, allowed us to retain staff and to bring in money. So that got us to the 1.6 million needed to, again, stay stable, if you will. That brings us to FY27, where we have 0. As you know, we'll have close to 0 in circuit breaker carryover in FY27. And we have money coming in for our revolvers, but we no longer have reserves in that. So my little write-up, I talked about, like, we're out of rabbits to pull from the hat at this point. It's that reduction has got to be, it's going to be personnel and programming, whatever it is, largely. This is just a different way of looking at it. So we've obviously spent out reserves. We are still going to be a minimal aid district. We'll receive somewhere between $30 and at most $150 per student as a minimum aid district, as assuming there are no significant funding changes coming down the pike very quickly. And then we are going to continue developing that level service budget. You can take your feedback, obviously, tonight or as we go forward. Our thinking was probably every Friday. We haven't picked a day yet, but we're going to update the book, not only to you, but online with any changes we make during the week to both the budgets. And then our next big step is defining that deficit or that gap. And again, I talked to Evan today, and I think as soon as tomorrow, they're going to be ready to share that forecast. Just about that. And then obviously we've got to focus on filling a reduction budget once we have that number. We can take any questions. For that,
I
I have a question about the regular transportation contract. Is that number solid or is that our assumption? Okay.
No, it's solid. We're in year 2.
Right. I lost
Yeah.
track of
So we're good in for, but okay, you're fine.
3, and then we have 2
Okay.
additional years
Oh,
to that.
wonderful.
The
Okay.
first was the 11% or 12%.
Right. That's what I was just
To
like.
not be 6%.
Yeah. Okay.
For the big yellow.
Thank you.
Hi. So, Dr. Cummings, I have a concern regarding the method for which we're budgeting because back in the fall, you had said that we're going to be using the actual budgeting method as Evan had stated to be using. But when I look at the salaries, it's clearly being done by an incremental budgeting method, which is more of a criticized method of budgeting. Like you can see it because you're taking the budget from FY26 and adding flat percentages onto it to create the FY27. And by using that method, we're not accounting for contractual changes, such as the principal's salaries didn't get changed, your salary didn't get changed, Frank's salary didn't get changed, any position that has been left or steps and lanes changes. I'm wondering why you're using the incremental method and not the actual method.
No, it look.
The non-salary is what we use, the performance-based. We can't use that method for salary. Those things. So when I was talking about performance-based, is that what?
No, I don't understand why we couldn't use that method. I mean, by this, when we're looking at this, for instance, it looks like teachers are getting a 6% increase. They're getting a 6% increase from last year to this
On
year.
average, you have to set
Well,
lanes, sure.
Yeah.
But it's not really on average. I mean, you can figure it out. I mean, when I used to do this for a living, I mean, we used to figure out each individual salary.
Just have to add that you're building a budget for next year.
Right, but we know, for instance, the superintendent's salary for next year.
Yeah.
That number's not correct in here. I know the principal salaries for next year. Those numbers are not correct because what's being done is you're using the base budget and adding a percentage instead of,
So you're looking for more, like, go through it individually.
Yeah,
even though it probably
because
wouldn't make
if-
a difference, we should do it. Which is fine.
I mean, it would make a difference because teachers have left. I mean, you're basing a budget off of a previous budget. So you're basing a budget off of a guess. Why wouldn't you do a compounding rate over the actuals from FY25? Why?
No, that's what we are taking their salary and through their contractual whatever increase.
That's what I mean, set the lanes.
But it's clearly an incremental based,
Okay.
and that's not the method that you stated that you'd be using.
Okay.
Okay, I mean it's a highly criticized method because it leaves holes.
We can definitely.
I'm not
sure I agree either, but we're happy to take a look at that. That would have been a fantastic email to send.
Yeah, I mean, it's a major thing for the whole board, though, to understand the
Yeah,
difference
but I mean-
between incremental versus actual based budgeting.
Okay. Except, again, I think like that level of detail,
That's not a detailed question.
I disagree.
It's on the entire method for which it's being presented. That's a huge.
Okay. So, but is
Right,
this
method.
needing the time, like the time to ask questions about their entire method?
Yes, it's for the whole board to understand, so we all have equal access to this information. Yes, we should all be understanding the method for which is being used. If you don't agree with that, I don't understand why. That the whole board shouldn't understand the methods for which being used to create.
Should understand it's our job to understand the methods. My point is, it's a level of detail for a first round of the budget that I think is confusing to a lot of people.
If the method is incorrect and we choose to go, it's a highly criticized method
who?
by the accounting boards. By most people who do budgets would not do an incremental based budget for salaries. It's very highly because of, like I just said, it's not accounting for contract changes. It's not accounting if teachers leave, if teachers get added. Let's say because you should know your payroll, but you know your payroll.
Whoa, Madam Chair, point of order.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
It's way different watching from from Florida.
I
tell
can
ya.
imagine. And this is my concern. First of all, how do we know today who's leaving in May? I mean, you're talking about perhaps in the corporate world, this is a highly discredited. Educational financing is completely different from corporate
I
financing.
worked in educational finance, Madam Chair. And Madam Chair, you don't know. That's correct. But we didn't know last year when we created the FY26 budget who was going to be here. And but now we're basing our budget off of that. That's what we're basing it off
What would you base it off of?
of the actuals, off of what people are actually making, and then using a compounded rate of COLA and steps and lanes changes. That's what I would base it off of. I wouldn't base it off of a guess that I made last year.
Okay, I didn't read it that we're based on a guess.
We have more than 2 weeks.
I'm happy to sit with you, Dr. Cummings, as I've stated.
Thank you and Kathleen should sit down.
This is a large over thing for the entire board to understand.
I think work it out on a small group and bring it to the board. And
But Madam Chair, this is a large strategic thing that
you
the
and I
entire
should
board.
meet with Kathleen, and then we will bring it to the entire board because I want to understand it. It's clearly important. Sure. Any other questions?
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks. So I think for me, what is important when we talk about it is the story. So that's where I always go back down to. And I do think when we talk about cost drivers and the difference it is, I think there was a slide, you could go back with like the salaries and the steps and lanes and everything. Yeah, thank you. I think that's a really important thing to really kind of talk about. And it's something that people can really understand when we're trying to go out and really stress that our salary increases. It's not a Grafton increase, right? Like happens in all school districts. So when people who come like myself, I'm in the corporate world, we don't have this kind of salary. We don't have steps and lanes. We don't have that kind of thing. So it's always a little confusing sometimes when we're talking about it, like, why can't you just do a pay freeze or why can't you do this? So you can't do those types of things because we have contracts, and this is also what you get when you get to be an educator. That's part of the role. So I guess mine is more of a comment, but just thinking about when we're telling the story and how important it is to kind of circle back to that. That's all.
Totally understood. Makes a lot of sense.
Well,
the gears.
I'm just, so, I mean, sort of big picture here. I know this is obviously very preliminary, but we're looking at about $3 million. Is that right? Okay. That's less than we were looking at last year.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I know that it comes from a separate, but we're also probably going to be looking at like insurance rates too, which isn't captured here, right?
Right. Not
So I'd be cautious, Rebecca, about throwing out a number right now.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yep. Agreed.
Also, sort of going back to, I mean, I don't know if we want to decide this or not, or if we want to have more conversation about it, but going back to what Christy was saying about the HR director, it's like, I feel like we should have an HR director. Like, I don't feel like that small amount of money, even though it's probably going to get sucked up somewhere else. Anyway, I feel like,
I mean, we should also have $1 million for curriculum. And I mean,
yeah,
this is a level service budget. This is not, nice to have at this point. But I don't disagree with you. The difference between 140,000
and 120.
But I'm afraid we're not even going to be able to use any of it.
Right.
Because there will be other needs that we haven't anticipated, because there's a lot you can't anticipate in December for a budget that's got to be completed in May.
Yep.
But point well taken. I'm not arguing against J help. I just am feeling realistic at the moment.
Is there a certain way that you can outsource some of like the smaller tasks for an HR like coordinator and then keep them for some of the larger tasks, like use like a service that we all kind of see online?
Probably.
No. Okay.
I took like
Could it be a shared service with the town?
we looked at that. I don't think so. Specific. A lot of people believe that they think that technology is the other big one that comes up. And part of it, I mean, you could hire somebody and then look to share the services, and maybe what's produced in terms of collective services is stronger. We just have so many more staff. Putting that, even with a little help on that department, they'd just be crushed. It's a ton.
Yeah.
I did talk to Evan about that and tech a few times. We've talked about it this year.
Are there any anticipated retirements or that we won't backfill because of the nature of what they are?
That we backfill right as of now. We have two. I don't know if the public's over,
Yeah.
but two general education teachers. We'll probably go through the process of looking at like the retirement incentive, but we did that. We looked at it years ago, maybe a decade ago, and that's just the fact that the town we offer two different built-in incentives for teachers, and that's within their contract. But a principal, somebody like that, who's qualified for an incentive already. Right. You'd have to go so far above and beyond.
Yeah. Oh, it's not really.
Invested. But we're going to look at it.
Okay.
We have a lot of people who are close to retire.
Anyone with anything else?
Well, yeah. Well, I just want to point out that that's why it needs to be actual based, because when retirements happen and we've already budgeted for them 2 years ago that person's staying, then you're adding on top of that salary of a person who has left.
We'll go over that separately offline and bring it back. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen.
sir.
I appreciate you. Unless you want to hang out because it's so fun here.
Thank you.
All right. Next year's school calendar, the eagerly anticipated.
All right. So this calendar, thankfully, is kind of owned by the school committee. What I try to do is create a draft to put before you just to kind of get the process started. We've put it as a draft today. You can bring it back next meeting or the meeting after. You can, like last year, I think we changed a couple things, maybe around Hamilton or something. But provide feedback, I'll make the changes and go from there. When I look at 26, 27, it's about as straightforward as I can remember. November 3rd is an election day, and that was requested to consider having it off anyhow. We would tie that with parent conference day. That seems to make sense to me. If the last day without any snow days, it was June 11th. And I encourage everybody to just count the days. I've done it about 20 times, but I could use 21 times. If we had a bunch of snow days, that Juneteenth falls on a Saturday. So if we recognize, we'd have the day off on Friday, June 18th. And here it's just a screenshot of it. I kept the early release days, same number, same basic setup. Everything was pretty much just moved forward. I couldn't think of anything particularly tricky about it.
Comments?
Just with Labor Day being later next year, it's
always been that first week, and it's the second week now, which is fine.
yeah.
It's funny.
I think giving an extra week of summer just sends the whole calendar off.
Like,
It would be late.
you push it late June.
Yeah.
Assume we're going to have a snow day. That puts us the week of the 14th.
Yeah.
And that's only a 4-day week. So if
Right.
we have 5 days, even as it stands now, we'd have to come back to 21st that week.
Yeah.
And then if you already have a week tagged on, we've got to be
too
done
late.
by the end of June.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be. You're actually allowed to go into July, but in terms of payroll and
That's right.
fiscal side of things, that would be a nightmare.
Nothing stands out.
No.
It's problematic.
So if it does, my plan, I mean, I'll talk to Leora, but I assume we'll bring it back for
We'll bring it back for a vote.
a vote. So we've got some time in there, but if you do have a thought or have a chance to look through it and see something, please let me know.
Yep. Yeah, anybody have anything?
No, that was just the only thing that's pointed out
Before.
was the like lateness of Labor Day.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Okay. Student representative report.
Okay, we have Grafton celebrates the holidays with a success, and then the Grafton students were volunteering the event.
Winter sports started up with tryouts ending this last week, and student council has been hosting a winter clothing drive ending this Friday, accepting gently worn jackets, pants, and sweatshirts at Bushel Peck and high school.
And dance it up and great.
And as well, yes. That's all.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great break, which will be here before we know it. All right, future agenda. Does anyone notice anything missing or off?
I see the promising practices are coming back next meeting, but we still haven't gotten the minutes from that meeting from July. We had said we would look at those prior to the next time it was brought back.
Yep. I was going to ask what the promising practices were. So now you've helped me understand what that is.
So I don't understand what you're saying. I'm sure
I have all the notes from our
The July
workshop we did with MASC. Is that what? Wait, what
Yeah.
is the
Is that what we were talking about? I thought that's what that was.
Oh,
Okay,
no, it
no,
isn't.
I was.
Oh.
That's
But
not.
okay, now I get it. I was,
Oh, that's I thought that's what
We're
that
talking
was.
about
We
two
haven't
different
even
things.
met as a.
Oh,
Company
okay.
practices
Okay.
is
I was
an annual event put on by the Blackstone Valley Educational Consortium, and one staff member from each of the districts recognized for fantastic, beautiful practice. So we'll do a presentation, they'll have an award, whatever. I'd love to have that staff member
Here, of course. Yeah.
here if
That's
it's
amazing.
available, but it hasn't, I don't think it's public yet.
Okay.
But next week, the ball really gets rolling. So that's what that is.
Oh, great.
Okay. I thought it was
Sorry
other
about
thing.
that. I was,
Because I didn't know. I'm like, what is that? Other than like, it must be that.
I was like, no, I don't think we have that. Okay.
Madam Chair, while we're looking at the agendas, do
Yep.
we have another meeting with the high school for the student advisor?
Yes, we're trying to get that done. It may not happen in December. I know it's supposed to, but it just may not, given December. So it will have to be early in
Okay.
January.
Yeah. No.
But yes, we're working to do that. We're going to have a lunch then.
Maybe not during that week. There's a half day or
I know. We'll do the best we can.
yeah.
But yes, it's definitely, we're working to schedule it. Thank you, Christy. We've got special education on here. All right. Yeah. I didn't see anything missing. All right. Great.
we'll get to it when we get to policy, but we talked about, Christy very kindly put together a list of the policies that we need to look at annually. So eventually those will need to be.
Will they just be distributed basically across the?
No.
However you guys
Oh,
want.
it's gonna. Yeah, we'll talk to. Can we talk about it when we get?
100%. I'm just connecting.
We do have some minutes to approve.
Madam Chair, yes, I'd like. Oh, what am I blanking? To vote on the minutes, to approve the minutes?
I'd like to make a motion.
Motion to approve the minutes from November 18th, 2025.
Second. All right, we'll need a roll call vote, starting with our colleague on Zoom.
Laura Often, aye.
Christy Kobaszynski, aye.
Stella Relisticus, aye. Rebecca Sokol, aye.
Leora Brom, aye. All right, thank you. Anyone have any questions on the warrants that were in the drive? Okay, and are here in the. Excellent.
So
All right, policy. Take it
policy.
away.
we're looking at a couple policies tonight. The first policy is IKFE, that's competency determination. We've looked at this policy once before.
Yep.
The only reason that we're bringing it back is Ms. Kalo has suggested that we add a section for students with IEPs. Nothing else to this policy has changed. I can read what it says. Students with IEPs. For students with IEPs, diploma eligibility will be reviewed annually through the IEP process. The IEP team will consider the student's course of study, progress towards graduation requirements, and any necessary accommodations, modifications, or alternative pathways. This has been, as I said, the recommendation of the high school principal to be added.
Did you guys write this language?
She wrote the language.
You wrote the language? Okay.
I think it came from state or
Something, yeah. It was handed to the policy subcommittee. So
Were you going to praise the language? Because if you were, then yes, we wrote it.
Yeah.
But
I'm just really happy to see it there. It was one of the things
Yeah.
that worried me about the policy all along. So
Yeah.
the acknowledgement that, IEPs are individual education plans. And so there will be an individualized path for people when it's appropriate. I'm just happy to see it.
So we would like to recommend that this be done on a single read because we've already brought this before the committee. And the only change is that one, if anybody has issue with that, we can make it two reads. If not, I'd like to make a motion to approve policy IKFE, competency determination, as written in front of you.
Second.
second,
All right, motion made and seconded. Any discussion, question? Okay. Roll call vote, starting with Laura.
aye.
Christy Kavajinsky, aye.
Stella Varlasakis, aye.
Rebecca Soko, aye.
Leora Brum, aye.
So on the next policy, to kind of give you a little bit of history as to why this one is coming, all the policies that we've done are now in the policy book. I've audited the entire policy book yet again, and this one had gotten missed. So we're bringing it to the committee. It was an MASC policy. I know why it was missed, but it still should have been brought to us. It's a K policy, KF-R, community use of school facilities. This will take two reads. It's an MASC policy.
Anything? So this is straight up
Yeah,
language
the
from
superintendent,
MASC.
right, and Dr. Cummings had agreed with this.
And there's nothing wonky or weird with it.
No,
No.
Can I ask a question? Isn't smoking not allowed on any school facility, like on the,
Anyway,
like it's right? It says not within the building. That was my only.
Oh, yeah. It's like within feet, right? There's,
It's like you
Right.
can't
Yeah.
be on school property and smoking. That was my only kind of like, that.
yeah, I mean, we could change it, I guess, if you want, but
I mean, I don't know. That was my only
That's I didn't catch you either. Smoking on school.
yeah.
yeah, I did think that was weird.
We still have the signs.
right.
70s still up.
Right.
It's not in the 70s. There used to be smoking in the high school when I went to high school in the 90s. Well, I was in the 2000s, but there was they allowed smoking at the high school
Inside?
on the courtyard at the high school, the old high school.
In my high school, smoking lounges. We could not. Inside.
Oh, that's right. There were for the teachers.
No.
Oh.
I was a boarding school. So I was
Okay.
in the dorms and in
I was like, for the teachers,
that
yes.
one
The kids, no.
building.
Wow.
The other thing, that number 10, in situations where there is no cost factor, I worry about going there with saying like, oh, in some cases we might not charge. Because I could see somebody saying, well, we don't need your custodian or we don't need, so it shouldn't cost you anything.
Right.
So don't
Like-
charge us.
Our wear and tear use is
Right.
always, there is always a cost factor.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
I agree.
overthinking, but it's
Is that like a barter
there's been
system?
contentions around cost and I don't know.
If you want, we don't even need to have this policy. Honestly, like I'm not married to this policy. This is just an MASC policy that we missed.
That we had.
that MASC had recommended, and we didn't even consider it when we were going through everything. It's cross-referenced with another policy, but I can change out the cross-reference.
What's it, crop?
I don't know off the top of my
Okay.
head.
it's referred to in another policy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, we also got rid of most of our R's when we could, which is probably why we didn't review it to begin with.
It doesn't matter. We don't have to take the policy. I really.
I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
fine, we won't
I'm not
take
a
it.
fan.
Fine. So
Good talk.
Okay.
I'll find the policy that it's cross-referenced. And I'm just going to delete the cross-reference if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, which is great. So
Thanks, Christy.
in regards to the policy book now, once this competency determination is in,
We need to vote on that,
we did.
on deleting that one.
Oh, no, because we didn't add it. We've never added
Oh,
it.
it was
It's
never
just,
there.
it's
Got it.
never been there.
Thank you.
So once this is done, our book will be 100% up to date. I would like to recommend, and I think Laura would be on board with it, although we haven't really talked about it, is that now that once the book is 100% done at this point, that it be distributed to all staff, whether it even just be in your newsletter, Dr. Cummings, or something, that all staff is aware that this book is fully updated and these are our policies. Dr. Cummings.
You want that shared?
Like in even in your newsletter, yeah, that that we
Public?
yeah, just to share the link that this is, that it's fully updated.
Happy to do that.
Thank you. And then I went through all the policies. I had done this last year for Dr. Cummings in regards to the policies needed for the handbooks. So all the policies that I've listed are those that would be needed in a handbook. I've denoted whether it's the student handbook or student and staff. Dr. Cummings and Laura have looked over these and we're in agreement, right, Laura? Yeah. That these are the policies. If anybody feels that there's other policies that they think should be in the student or staff handbook, other than the ones we're showing, that'd be good to know. Let us know. And then from here on out with policy, our policy book is done. So the purpose with the MASC model is that they will be updating their policies and we will find out from MASC if a policy is being changed or added or whatnot. And at that point, we'll bring it forward to the committee. They only do that once, maybe twice a year, depending on the year. So, but however, we have policies for which we own or which state they need to be reviewed annually or have contact information in them, which Laura and I are neither a fan of, but that's just the way that the policies are written. And so we'd like to ensure that they're continually updated, like up to date. So these are policies that we would request once a year before the handbooks come out, before the handbooks are written, because we don't want a wrong policy in a handbook. So that's what Dr. Cummings was referring to earlier, is that we do an annual review of policies, meaning just the ones that you're seeing here. I think it's 1, 2. Most of them are not going to change at all, and probably it would be just a single read or just, yeah, we looked at that. That's still how we feel.
Same person.
Yeah, same person, right. But these are the Grafton-specific or contact changes in policies.
So what's in the gifted and talented one that needs annual?
Well, it's a personal. It's
there's a person.
No, it's a Grafton specific policy. So these are either Grafton specific because we'll never get told from MASC that there's a change.
Gotcha.
Like the homework policy, that's Grafton specific.
Specific.
We'll never hear. And what will happen is, since we're not going to ever be doing this like sections A through F, X through
Right.
this will get overlooked. So these need to be
Yeah, I was like, cash in school building.
On-
to review that annually, but I understand.
just to ensure that we still even want to keep the policy on an,
So do we want to just put them on the agenda so that they?
right. So that's what Dr. Cummings was saying. Yeah. So when you look back at the agenda,
Yep.
Probably towards the end of the year.
well, it's going to be before handbook.
Right. So it's got to be.
It may be April 28th. You don't have, there's nothing really on that other than Dr. Cummings' evaluation. Unless that's not soon enough, Dr. Cummings, for the
April 7th. I
The
don't
handbooks are the
Each photo.
26. Yeah.
fine.
So, or yeah, maybe
April 7th, the 7th.
7th probably makes sense.
Okay, so annual policy review.
It'll be there.
Yep. Okay. Great. Thank you. Great work. Thank you, Policy Subcommittee. Well, we have no correspondence and we don't need executive session. So unless somebody has something else, I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.